The shark hit me really hard. It's the biggest impact I've ever felt of something hitting me. It was then trying to shake from side to side to tear part of me away. Those are the words from Cameron Wrathall, the Bicton father that was attacked back in January by a bull shark in the Swan River. We are very lucky to have him, not just here in the studio, but in general. It is great to have you on here for Shark That, mate, our week of Shark Chats. Thank you very much for making the effort of coming in to speak to us.
My pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
Cam, firstly, how are you tracking, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm going well. I'm a fairly positive person and just making the best of the situation. It's challenging being home, and I'm not long out of hospital, and I'm pretty slow with everything, and I'm not really doing much.
So just to paint the picture, Cam came in to this morning on crutches. You had a horrific leg injuries caused by this bull shark. So in terms of injuries, what happened?
Well, it tore a big flap out of my upper left thigh and buttock on the left side. I was very lucky that it actually didn't escape with that piece of my leg, or I probably wouldn't be here. It did some significant damage to my sciatic nerve, which is the main issue. The surgeons did a wonderful job stitching together muscles, putting tendons back on the bone, packing everything in, putting it all back together, so I actually have a leg. But the sciatic nerve damage has left me with a numb buttock all down the back of my thigh, down the back of my calf and my whole foot. So I can't feel my foot at all or communicate with it. So it just drops. I've got a special brace that I wear to keep the foot up so I can use the crutches and walk. The lack of feeling down the back of the leg means that I also can't communicate with those muscles like the hamstrings and things like that. So I can't pull my leg backwards. I have to have a straight leg swing getting into and out of the car and things like that. So it just generally makes things a little bit slower and a little bit more difficult. It also broke my hip, head of the femur, and that's been a slow recovery because normally they'd pin it, but because they were so worried about infection, they didn't pin it, which means I've got to just slowly reintroduce weight onto that leg, which I'm up to 20 kilos at the moment of weight. So I'm basically able to put my foot down, more of a balance aid than putting my weight onto it. But progressively, 5 kilos a week, I will build that up to full weight bearing and then hopefully get some strength back into it. And my ultimate aim is to then be able to walk around maybe just with the wrist crutches after the full crutches and then just with a walking stick.
Wow.
Cam, can you take us back to that day, if you're comfortable to do so?
Of course. I was just swimming with a friend of mine. We have swum pretty much every day along in similar spots to where we were that day. We have a few different courses in the river, and we swim about 1.5 to 2K every day. We do it all year. That morning was about 8 o'clock in the morning. We got down to Bicton. We jump off into the water at Bicton Jetty, or just near the water polo club there, Melville Water Polo Club. And we swam half of our course, which is towards the Kent Street Jetty, and then we stop and we have a chat, and then we turn around and come back. We just had our chat, and we hang on to a boat there, just sort of out the back just before the channel where it's all clear. And we were just turning to head back, and that's when I felt it. Something hit me really hard. It was, it was a really hard blow, and it was on the thigh buttock area. And I looked down, and there was a shark sort of hanging off my leg and my buttock, and it's like half a metre away. Its head's attached to me.
Oh, my goodness.
So I hadn't seen it. It had come. I just turned from being sort of horizontal in the water to more vertical. I was probably about halfway through the turn to take off when it hit me. So it sort of come from under and hit me on the left side, and it was attached to my leg, and it was, starting to try and move to tear,
Sore.
tear a chunk out or take something with it. So I've pretty much reacted instinctively, I think, and I've just, the thought that went through my head is I have to get this off me, and I've just thrust down with my arms, my hands, and I've hit it open palmed with the heels of my hands and in the head, and it's let go and swum away. And this was quick, this was 2 or 3 seconds, the whole thing. And then I've turned to my friend that I was swimming with, he's a couple of metres away from me, Richard, and said, "Shark," just one word. And
He didn't know yet.
he knew.
Yeah.
But we figured out a few things afterwards.
Sure.
Wow.
But he'd seen its tail come out of the water a couple of metres away from me. But that's while it was attached to me. And I've said shark, and he goes, "Yeah, I know." And then I've got to get to shore, and I'm going to swim for it. And I knew that was the other thing that I was thinking is I have to get to shore before I drown, because I could see all the blood around me.
Yeah.
Cam, this might sound like a silly question, but did you feel pain immediately, or the adrenaline
No
had
pain.
nothing?
Nothing. Just felt, I'd felt the impact. I hadn't felt pain. It was shock and adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
So how far did you have to go to swim to get back to shore?
100 metres at the most.
Okay.
We were out in the channel. We drifted a little bit from when we'd been talking. The current was going back towards Fremantle. And 100 metres at the most. So we actually swam in. We got to the shore, and my friend was yelling out, "Shark, shark, help, help." And when I got to the shore, I turned to him and just said, "Oh, I think I've just about had it," because I was feeling faint. So I'm just supporting myself in the shore in about, 6 inches of water sort of thing, feeling like I'm going to fall over. He's yelling out, excuse me. A couple of kayakers came over and a guy on a paddleboard. That was Kieran and Peter and Vance. And one of them took his, I think it was Kieran, took his rashie off and wrapped it around my leg and did a tourniquet.
Mm-hmm.
I was incredibly lucky. These guys all had some form of first aid training at a good level. They put me on the paddle board like a stretcher and floated me along the river for a little bit until they found a bit where they could walk up to the road.
Yep.
And then they got me up the bank to the road. And, through this part, I was drifting in and out of consciousness, so I'd be awake for a little bit and then I'd be lying down for a little bit. And a couple of times I woke up with a bit of a start, wondering what was happening. They got me up to the road. Someone had already called an ambulance from up on top that had seen the whole incident, had actually witnessed it happening in the water. So the ambulance was there very quickly, within 10 minutes. And pretty much as they got me in the ambulance and closed the doors, I died from blood loss and was out for a couple of minutes, but they got fluids into me and revived me. And
Wow.
I was alive when I got to the hospital at Royal Perth.
So your heart stopped beating.
Yeah.
And did they pronounce you clinically dead?
No.
No? So
they just go straight into what they have to do to get you back.
The paddles out? Did they have the paddles out to...
Well, I wasn't really with it to know what was happening.
Hey guys, you wouldn't mind getting the paddles out?
I believe so, but I can't say for sure because I was gone.
I mean, so extraordinary. I mean, you're obviously fit, which probably helped. The luck of running into those guys with that bit of training, the luck of the ambulance being there, in a hurry. I mean, it would have only been another minute or two either way, and you wouldn't be here.
Quite possibly, Yeah, I was very lucky with everything that happened from the point of getting bitten, which wasn't that lucky.
No, I hear that, yeah.
Cam, when you were swimming back to shore, did you know, I mean, I'm imagining obviously there would have been a lot of blood. Did you even know if you had a leg? Did you wouldn't, when you were swimming, you would have predominantly, I guess, using your arms?
Yeah, nearly all arms. I played water polo for 35 years, so I can swim reasonably well. I knew I had a bad injury. I could feel my leg flopping about, not kicking, and I could feel the flap of meat that was hanging off it. God, I could feel the water going through it, and I could feel that flapping about. So I knew I had a bad injury, and also I could see there was a big trail of blood following me. So I was bleeding out because I was exercising, at the same time,
of course.
Swimming. There was fair blood flow. That was the scariest part for both myself and my friend that was swimming with me because we didn't know where the shark was.
Yes.
So the whole time, we've talked about it since, the whole time swimming back, we were both just thinking, where's the shark, where's the shark, where's the shark?
Of course.
Yeah.